Welcome everyone to GeoHug. I am doing my first live interview from sunny Brisbane for the World Mining Congress and also to celebrate the BHP Xplor showcase completion for the 2023 cohort. I'm joined by Fabian Baker from Kingsrose Mining and I'm really excited to chat about it today. I was really curious how you found it this year.
Yeah, well, to be selected was a great validation of our team, and it's certainly not just me. Andrew Tunningley, our head of exploration, and the wider team around him are just fantastic geologists and so passionate about it. So it was really nice to see all of their hard work getting that recognition. Yeah. And I think what I haven't sort of touched on is we did do a couple of acquisitions in the region to get slightly more advanced exploration projects.
Yeah.
But as a part of that big sort of regional review, we had some earlier stage ideas. So two large mineral belts, which we felt were really prospective and very underexplored. And I think despite us being in a good financial position as a company, we still felt that it was better value for money for us to focus on the slightly more advanced assets. Mm-hmm. But then when Xplor came along, and they basically sort of helped remove some of those concerns around where you're spending capital allocation, where you're spending your money, and time. We had this brilliant idea in our back pocket, and this was just the perfect home for it. Yeah. So the program's been amazing. I mean, we started in January. We're now late June, just wrapping up, graduating, and we've done a huge amount of work, learned a lot, but it's been really rewarding.
What were the biggest things you learnt?
Well, I think what they brought was this sort of meeting in the middle. There's tends to be a couple of schools of thought in the exploration space around, or at least people tend to work generally either in the larger major companies, mm-hmm. Or in the more junior companies. And the sort of perception is the major companies are sort of stifled with bureaucracy and they're slow, mm-hmm. and so on, and there's some truth to that. Whereas junior companies are nimble, and where the new ideas come from, but also tend to sort of slip up on some of the fundamentals or some of the bigger picture aspects around communities and sustainability and things. So this is sort of this meeting in the middle of those two approaches, and so that's a really key part of it. We've been introduced to some of the world's top technical experts, mm-hmm. In a whole range of things: geophysics, geochemistry, different styles of deposit models, exploration techniques. But then on top of that, they've layered this whole sort of business and operational readiness sort of program. We've worked with Deloitte on our strategy as a company. We've worked with expert groups on our sustainability approach, building out an understanding of our risk. People tend to sort of, in the junior companies again, sort of yawn at it and think, risk registers. But they've taken us through these processes which just basically help you identify what's important to the company in terms of being successful and where should you focus your resources, where do you need to build more capability and resources. Yeah. And all of that planning basically allows you to kind of test ideas, come up with what do you want to be, where do you want to go, understand then how you're going to take that forwards, and then you can go for it with confidence that you've thought it through. So all that planning, I think should pay off. And again, it's that sort of rare thing that most juniors don't get the time to do. Whereas we've been a handful of times over the last few months asked to come and sit with them for a week and sort of try and turn off your phone and not stare at your emails every day, every moment, and go back to school and think about what you're doing. Yeah. It's been great.
That is really cool. I would love to get an experience like that. That would be amazing. Having an outsider looking in would be, really insightful, I think. And it comes up on GeoHug sessions all the time about risk in exploration, and it's always getting compared, like rolling the dice and things like that. It's can we get into any nitty-gritties of like some specific things that you'll do different now, or?
Yeah, it's funny you use the term rolling the dice. That's sort of how I've been describing the sort of typical way of operating with a junior. It's sort of a single asset roll of the dice. There's, again, a bit of a school of thought, junior companies should be a sort of single asset focus. Don't get too distracted. Don't spread your resources too thinly. Investors might struggle to sort of grasp value in more than one asset. But the fact is, exploration is really risky. Most exploration projects fail for one reason or another. And so it's not aligned in reality, this idea of having one asset and saying it's the best asset in the world and you're going to explore it to death. So that's really where we're coming from, that combination of those building blocks where we had more money and resources, we've been able to do all this planning. Our aim is to have a really well curated but portfolio of projects. Mm-hmm. And so the idea is that they're complementary, either in their region or in their styles of geology, yep. Maybe at different stages of the exploration timeline. So when one is delivering more results at a more advanced stage, we've got other things coming through the pipeline, which again is what this Xplor program is doing. It's bringing these earlier stage ideas forwards. Yep. So that's sort of a key part of our strategy, is to have more irons in the fire. Mm-hmm. So more assets, more opportunities at exploration success. And then wrap a bit more of a capable team around all of those. So rather than really only focusing on the technical merits, before boots hit the ground, thinking about your community engagement, your environmental impact, how can you basically demonstrate to communities that we're going to operate responsibly and perhaps, not repeat the mistakes of people in the past. Yeah. And so for us, that's where we see the world is going, and it's the way companies need to behave, and it's that growing up that I think the junior exploration sort of sector needs to grasp. Yeah. And so that's, again, that's really a key part of our strategy here. Good quality assets, mm-hmm. But really doing things the right way.
So it's all wrapped up now with Xplor. Is there any project status updates that I can get from you? What's the latest now?
It's a bit early days to say anything definitive on where the project's going,
yep.
But I guess, regardless of sort of more of the commercial terms, from our point of view, we've taken what was just an idea to now a really kind of well thought through concept that's got a lot of evidence saying this looks like a genuine exploration opportunity. Mm-hmm. And not only that, we've gone from it being a concept where we didn't hold exploration licenses. In Norway, for example, we now hold more than 2,800 square kilometers, about 200 kilometers long belt. Wow. We've identified more than 90 sort of early stage targets within that. Our team's been just getting on the ground as the snow's cleared, and we're already seeing some mineralization there at surface untested. So as an exploration concept, we're really excited about it. And then, that whole Xplor program, I can't say enough how sort of grateful we are to BHP for, putting something on that of course has benefits for BHP, but they really went out of their way to make sure this is as impactful and beneficial as possible for the companies that take part, and that regardless of what happens in terms of the future with BHP or not, it leaves us in a better spot, more investable. Yeah. So we're really excited about the exploration project, and we've learned a lot. And we're just going to go forwards more clear in our strategy, mm-hmm. more convinced in how we want to go about things. Yeah. So it's a great spot to be in.
So lastly, and then I'll let you go. But if they ran a program like this again, what would you suggest to other juniors looking to apply, or how would you put your best foot forward, I suppose? Yeah.
Well, first thing I'd say, put your skepticism aside. Mm-hmm. Those sort of ingrained sort of prejudices against how majors work. This is not like being in a major mining company. Sonia, who leads the program, has done this amazing job with her team at sort of insulating the program from some of that bureaucracy and fast-tracking things. It's amazing what we've achieved in 6 months. So put your skepticism to one side and apply. Mm-hmm. In terms of what you should put forwards, think big. And again, I think a lot of juniors aren't so used to doing that, where people tend to play it a bit safer, looking for an asset where they can get some more guaranteed results and just sort of build the story slowly and attract investment opportunity. This, you can throw that rule book out the window. Yeah. We've got more advanced companies like ourselves, mm-hmm. who are a part of this. and down to one guy, a fantastic professor, Jim Mungle, who he doubled his team on the first day by adding his first employee and registering a company and with an idea, a fantastic idea. So you can put forward lots of different types of ideas, but just think big and think from those fundamentals of good geology. Could there be an ore forming system here?
Yeah.
And I think throw your hat in the ring. What's to lose?
Yeah. Well, that's good tips. And yeah, well, congratulations again. And
Thanks.
Yeah, best of luck with the next stages for you and Kingsrose. So that's really exciting. And thanks for chatting to us. I really appreciate it.
Thanks very much.